Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We are so glad to have you here. I'm Brandy. I'm here with my colleague Jason, and we work on the partner success team for Bandwango. And we're here with a couple of our friends. We've got Michelle from Experience Columbus and Caitlin and Kelly from Tourism Calgary. So these are a couple of our OG partners. They've been with us for years. They've built tons of passes, and not just built tons of passes, tons of great passes that they've seen a lot of success with. So Jason and I went to them and said, hey, do you mind sharing this secret sauce with everyone else? Tell us your tips and tricks. And so they agreed, and we're so excited to have them here today. You're going to hear so many great tips today. As you're hearing things, there is a chat function on the webinar. Please drop your questions into the chat. We're going to have a Q&A at the end. So for things that you want to learn more about, they are happy to answer any questions that you have. And between both of them, I think that we have done every type of pass under the sun. I mean, paid attractions passes where we've got local businesses actually making money every month. We've done the gamified trails, savings passes, you name it. Between one of these partners, they've done it. So just take it all in today and hear about some of the great things they're doing. If you get inspired and you want to do a new pass, or you hear something that you want to learn more about, of course, reach out to your success specialist at Bandwango, and we're happy to help strategize with you. So with that, Michelle, we're going to start with you today. Michelle and I get to work very closely together on a day-to-day basis, coming up with new pass ideas for Experience Columbus and finding ways to just help maximize these. So this is a really fun partner I get to work with. But even though they've got over 20 experiences now, it started with one, and then it got to where we are now. So Michelle will kind of talk us through that. And the one that it started with, we are coming up on a very special anniversary for this year, and we're doing some really cool things with that. But Michelle, I want you to tell us more about that.
Thank you. I would love to. So as Brandy said, yes, we started 10 years ago with our Columbus Coffee Trail. And, this was a fun trail for us to start with. Of course, when we started it, it was very, booklet heavy, and quickly we became aware of Bandwango and decided that, the better way to handle it and the more efficient way to handle it was to digitize it and work with Bandwango on this. So that has made all the difference in the world for this trail. But yes, we're coming up on 10 years, and we're planning some fun things to celebrate that 10-year anniversary of our very first trail, and still our most popular trail of all of ours. So how it's going. We have 23 passes in total. That includes, of course, our Columbus Coffee Trail, some paid attraction passes. We have an attraction marketplace where you can buy individual day passes and individual experience passes as well. We have Columbus Distillery Trail, the Outdoor Trails Pass that we do in partnership with the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission to really raise awareness for our trail system in Ohio, or in the greater Columbus area, that, for walking, biking, canoeing, hiking, all of those fun trails. But that is managed by us through Bandwango. Our Short North Arts District Arts Pass, lots of amazing art in our Arts District, which is just on the north end of our convention center downtown area. Seba Soul Sculpture Pass, we just relaunched that last week on Juneteenth, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but doing some different things with that when we relaunched last week really made a huge difference, and downloads have increased already. What else? Our attendee savings pass, which, people come in for our conferences and they want to get out and experience the area and maybe have a little bit of a bargain or a deal. So we offer the attendee savings pass as well. And what am I missing here? Our Columbus style pizza trail. My goodness, we have some really fun things going on with that. And then our Columbus live music trail. So those are some things that we have going and we will talk about, but upcoming is, and it hasn't been announced publicly yet. So you guys are learning about this before a lot of people here in Columbus are, but we are in August launching our Columbus Buckeye Treat Trail. So if you know of the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Buckeye is an actual tree. The nut on it is called a Buckeye nut. So there's now there is a candy called the Buckeye candy, and we're going to form a trail around that, and people are so excited about that, but it's going to be delicious. So can't wait to do that one. And then a paid coffee trail pass for our 10-year celebration. So we can go ahead and move on to the next slide and talk about those as we go. All right, so our marketplace, Brandy's just going to share the next few slides. This is what our marketplace looks like on our website. So we have it divides it into our paid passes and our free trail downloads. And I'm trying to expand my screen as I look at this because these are small on my screen. So this is by the numbers. Now, these numbers that I've shared with you here are as of the end of 2023. So already we're in the mid 2024. So these numbers have certainly been updated. But this is what we keep track of every month. We do our past signups and then our check-ins and redemptions. So the gamified trails and the ones that we track very closely, you'll see numbers associated with those. But you'll see our Columbus Coffee Trail, over 10,000 check-ins and redemptions. So it's still very, very popular and continues to be so. Getting signups, we definitely rely heavily on PR. So we do a lot of press releases. We pitch to influencers, to our local media. This is a picture of me in January doing a full morning with a local TV personality and going to a few of our pizza trail. This was during National Pizza Month or Pizza Week. There's a lot of different national days and months, but this was during that week. And so we visited some of our pizza trail partners and had lots of different pizzas from 7:30 in the morning until 10:30 in the morning. But he has great viewership, great following. And so, they reached out and they really wanted to highlight some of our local pizza shops and talk about our trail. So definitely helped with signups, an immediate boost right after that as well. Messaging, we definitely take advantage of the messaging in the Bandwango app with reaching out to our other trails and the people that have signed up for those to promote our various trails to them. And then we also refresh the prizes every couple of years to keep people coming back to those trails. They complete them and then what? So if we're refreshing those prizes, they don't mind going to the same great local businesses again and having maybe the same thing that they've fallen in love with or something a little bit different because they're going to be able to have a different prize along the way. The fun thing I wanted to mention, the last bullet on here with the Columbus Style Pizza Trail is that there's currently a contest getting ready to launch in London. In the UK, they fell in love with our pizza trail, and really what they fell in love with was the T-shirt, which that's the goal of some of the prizes. And they asked more about it and fell in love with that. So they are launching a promotion there with travel agents where they have to design their own Columbus style pizza, have it judged. A couple of people will win our swag. So we're going to have some of our Pizza Trail shirts walking around the streets of London, which is very exciting and very fun for them. And then they're planning some itineraries to pitch to these travel agents as they talk to their clients about visiting the US and how to take advantage of our great food scene and of course enjoy, our Columbus style pizza trail. The messaging I mentioned before, we really have become very deliberate with this recently. So we didn't always take advantage of it, and boy, did we miss out because it has made a big difference. So we take advantage of it and we try to have fun with it, and we definitely keep track of all of those National Pizza Weeks and Pepperoni Pizza Day and all of those things, and we keep a calendar, and we try to tailor our messaging around some of those fun national days or just local happenings, local events, things that are really relevant locally. But this was just a fun one I wanted to share. It was a dad joke. How do you make pizza laugh? And we sent that out as a dad joke to really promote Pizza Trail downloads. And we have fun with it and be creative, but be deliberate and try to have a good tie-in, and it does make a difference. So tips and tricks, what we have done in Columbus is um, use fun and relevant prizes. There's so many things out there, but we really do try to tie those prizes into what the trail is about. We with our Buckeye Trail that I mentioned earlier, something that we did that was very purposeful is, as I mentioned, a Buckeye is a Buckeye tree. So they are going to win some really fun prizes that are tied to the trail, like a Buckeye scented candle and some things like that. But what we're also doing is we're there every month. People who have downloaded the trail will be entered into a drawing to win a annual membership to our local arboretum that specializes in Buckeye trees. And so, it's very green and sustainable, and it's just something that's very purposeful, tied to that trail that's not necessarily edible like our Buckeyes are. The t-shirts, what we do with those is every fourth stop on every trail, no matter which trail it is, they win a t-shirt, and or they earn a t-shirt. Excuse me, they don't win it, they earn it. But they earn that t-shirt that is very fun, a fun design. And then they're walking around, as I said, the streets of London. They're going to be walking around with our "It's hip to be square" pizza shirt, and really be so people, it catches their eye, and they want to know how they can get that and where they can find it. Gamification, my goodness, this has made a huge difference. Our live music trail we launched a couple of years ago, and it was really just follow along. Here's our stops. There were over 40 places in Columbus that you could find live music any given evening, day or evening, and it was a warm reception, quite honestly. We didn't have many downloads. We didn't have a lot of engagement. People were doing it anyway, but there was no real reason for them to use the trail in their minds, other than maybe just keeping track or learning of a couple of new places. But we gamified it last year, and when we gamified it, we had a 2,700% increase in people downloading that trail and using it. I mean, that's huge. And the prizes for this, we partner with our Columbus Music Commission on this, so they handled the prizes and they handled the redemption on that. But they weren't significant. They weren't high value, but it made a 2,700% difference. People like the gamification. They like to feel like they're earning something, or they're working towards something, or doing it as a group or as a couple and doing that together. So it really did make a huge difference. Getting our local businesses engaged in the promotion of the pass, key. Having the small pizza shops and the coffee shops and the distilleries talking about it, displaying the signage, putting a sign on the door, anything that they can do to promote it themselves certainly helps promote everybody on that pass. And some of the other trails that Experience Columbus is doing. What I love about it is that the small businesses that are partners with Experience Columbus really do get traffic walking into their doors, and so it's a huge boost for them. They're getting PR value out of it. We're doing, as I said, a lot of pushes, and they're getting a lot of extra exposure. So it really does help them just for the cost of membership. We don't increase any fees for them to be a part of these trails. If they fit in the trail and the trail makes sense, they're getting that extra exposure. And then for paid passes, we have gone to, at Bandwango's suggestion, gone to using third-party platforms to spread these messages. And you can see on the slide a 336% increase last year in sales by using Groupon and Get Your Guide and some others. So it really did make a great difference for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. And don't forget, drop your questions in chat. Jason, I'll turn it over to you now.
All right. Thank you, Brandy. Well, I'm really honored to be able to introduce Caitlin and Kelly today from Tourism Calgary. And before I toss it over to the two of you, I just want to brag on you a little bit and just share that, every time that we have a call or we begin a new project, we also, do an annual planning call at the beginning of the year. It's just very clear that Tourism Calgary has really collaborated among team members, among departments. They really think through why they're doing the passports. And I think that's a huge part of the reason why each year, when they kind of iterate on each initiative and they try things and they test things to see what works, what doesn't work, what might we want to keep this year, what might we want to get rid of next year. It's all very, very purposeful. There's a reason behind why you're doing it. And that's something that I really value as your client success manager, is that I have a clear understanding going into these projects of why you're doing this, who you're hoping to target, and how we can work together to improve upon these initiatives year after year. And so with that, there's so much more I could say, but I'm going to turn it over to the two of you to introduce yourself, and I'll go ahead and advance our slide here. And I may, as I mentioned to you, I may pop in here and there and just ask you a couple questions along the way.
Jason. So Bandwango. Somebody. Introduce yourself on the next slide. Just kind of context into our kind of journey and beginning with Bandwango.
We may be having an audio issue. Is everybody, are you guys experiencing that at all? Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
There we go. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Take two.
Okay, take two. Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin. I'm the manager of visitor experience at Tourism Calgary, and I'll pass it over to Kelly to introduce herself on the next slide. But we're really excited to be here to chat with you about our experience with Bandwango. I'm just going to give a bit of context in how kind of our journey began with Bandwango. We had been doing past programs for, I want to say, since 2014. And all in some sort of kind of paper display. And we found paper, one, it was hard to update. Things change all the time in our industry. And two, it was a lot of manual work in order to actually give everybody their paper passports. So one of our colleagues had come across Bandwango in a convention that they were attending. Bandwango was presenting, and it was the perfect digital solution that we needed to be able to digitize these past programs. So we signed on with them in 2020, and then led to the number of past programs that we kicked off. So I'll pass it over to Kelly to give some context into what we're doing. So now.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for the intro too, Jason. That was really kind. Tourism Calgary has 5 active passes, and we kind of divide them into leisure and consumer passports, so a little bit more focused on the traveler. And then we'll call them kind of industry passes, and those are focused a little bit more on hospitality workers and engaging with people in the tourism industry in Calgary, as well as delegates or conference attendees, and kind of curating experiences for those separate audiences. So we have our Calgary Attractions Pass active right now, which we'll dive into a little bit, and that's just offering discounts at the top attractions and things to do in Calgary, and that one has been wildly successful. And then we've just launched the Calgary Public Art Trail, which is a pass encouraging people to explore public art, sculptures, and murals around Calgary, and we'll touch on that one a little further too. But we thought it might be interesting to know some that we've discontinued and why. So as Jason mentioned, we're just kind of always auditing what we're doing and the success of passes. So our Chinook Blast check-in, for example, was centered around a 2-week festival that happens in winter, I think 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. And we just kind of decided that the level of effort to build the pass and then the reward for doing so, it just wasn't long enough. It was too short of an experience. And so a learning from that was definitely that the longer we can have a pass active, the more success we're going to see and the better it's going to be for our audience. Another interesting note is the Calgary Beers and Cheers Pass, which was a brewery pass, essentially, encouraging people to go to breweries and get a little bit of a discount and try local craft beer. And the first year that we did that in 2022 was really successful. And we saw a little less enthusiasm in 2023 and decided not to proceed with it this year, in part because a local initiative, it's called the Alberta Ale Trail, they were planning to build a very similar program. So instead of having competing programs, it made a lot of sense to combine them, and them being really dialed into that scene and focused solely on Calgary and Alberta's craft beers. It made more sense that they kind of owned the program. So I think, I don't think it's with Bandwango anymore, but seeing the success of what we had built and kind of putting that out into the community and having locals and breweries and partners familiar with the pass really set it up for success to keep going. So a success story, but in a different way.
Yeah. And I love that you explained that, Kelly, because I think that's really important that, some initiatives serve a purpose for several years, and then you maybe change course. And as we saw during the pandemic, for so many of the folks who are joining us today and watching, there were certain things that probably both the organizations on the call today and many of the organizations we work with did during that time that were really great for that time period and the challenges that we all faced. And then there are other things that, maybe it's time for those to end and new things to begin. So I love that you guys are always innovating and reassessing, as you said, auditing and deciding what to keep and what not to keep, and really how to focus in on what you are keeping and make it great.
So as Kelly mentioned, we have had some discontinued passes, and we take a look at all of our programs every year to see how we can evolve and do better and just make changes to meet our audience. So I'm going to kind of talk about the evolution of our Calgary Attraction Pass, and it started with the initiative, our Love YYC Deals Pass. In 2020, we were looking at ways that we could support local businesses, and we were fortunate to be able to sign on with Bandwango before the pandemic really hit. So we had this amazing tool that we could leverage to work with those local businesses and drive traffic to their locations. So that kicked off the Love YYC Deals Pass program. I think in our first year, we had close to 50 partners participating, and our local community was really excited to get involved from both a business perspective and offering some sort of deal or incentive to get a local into their store, their restaurant, or the local audience getting out and supporting those local businesses during difficult time. So we saw really amazing success with this in its first year, 11,000 signups and over 1,300 redemptions. So we were really excited about that program. But then over to the next year, we found our Love YYC Deals Pass wasn't quite reaching the audience that we were looking to expand in as travel slowly started to return. So dropping Love YYC. YYC is our airport code, and we realized visitors don't necessarily understand what YYC may mean. Using the word Calgary was a stronger message. So we rebranded that program to the Discover Calgary Deals Pass program. We saw an appetite from partners to really target visitors in the destination. Locals, they continued to get great support from, but it was having that leisure traveler return back into their restaurant or their attraction where we wanted to refocus our efforts. So we expanded the audience to include regional domestic meetings and sport groups, and then increased downtown partner engagement as well, which is a really high traffic area for locals and high populated area for hotels as well. After that year, or I guess 2 years of running the Discover Calgary Deals Pass program, we started to really dive into the nitty gritty of what offers are performing well and what's not. We ran this program where we would refresh offers every quarter, and with 50 partners, refreshing offers every quarter was a lot of work. It was a full-time job in itself, and getting that buy-in. And if partners aren't seeing redemptions, then that became a bit challenging. So we actually saw attraction offers were the top performing by far across all of the types of deals that we offered in the Discover Calgary Deals Pass program. And so we saw a need for a more themed approach to align with our marketing effort. We still work with our restaurants and our retail partners in various ways, but we decided to transition the Discover Calgary Deals Pass at that point to our Calgary Attraction Pass program.
Yeah, and Caitlin, I'm just going to inject in here because in the interest of time, we eliminated the slide on the beers and cheers, but this is going back to what Kelly was talking about. This is where the beers and cheers started. So along the lines of really coming up with a thematic approach rather than having it just be, a pass that covered everything. You guys introduced a drinks specific passport, which even though it's not an attractions pass, it's part of this evolution of the attractions pass. And so I just wanted to point that out to people, that even passes that might not be directly related to the attractions pass on their face, that through doing all the other passports that you guys do and all the things that you've tried and all the different areas that you've highlighted, you've learned along the way, and those things have contributed to where we've gotten with the attractions pass.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2023, we had met with a group in Calgary called the Calgary Attractions Committee, and they're a committee that does marketing for a number of the top attractions around the city. And they were actually looking at taking deals and finding a way to put them online. So we pitched a kind of a partnership in using the Bandwango tool and being able to collaborate on this Calgary Attraction Pass program. So with that, we have in our first year, we had 13 partners as a part of that committee to offer that Attraction Pass program. And having a smaller number of partners participate, I know the partners that do participate really appreciated the extra exposure. It was less choice overload for people to understand where they could go around Calgary. And so we saw a lot of really great success with this pass and continue to utilize this pass going forward. And then we tapped into Bandwango's gamification capability this year to be offering prizing and incentives. And that too, we're seeing a lot more growth with the pass because people are excited. We've got, I think, a free pair, 3 different pairs of socks that people can earn. So if they check in to 3 locations, they can earn a pair of socks, and then 6 locations, another pair of socks. And then we have a sweepstakes grand prize, which is a nice kind of staycation package within Calgary. So we find that using the gamification really does get people excited, specifically locals who, may sign up for the pass and kind of forget about it. It's a way to keep them engaged and keep them going out throughout the year. And then for visitors, the lower threshold in prizing was more achievable for them, and they're excited to get their Calgary branded socks before they go home. So next
Great.
slide, Jason. So the results, it's been our most successful pass to date. We've had over 1,300 signups this year. 2023, 13,000
13,000, yeah.
13,000 signups in 2023 with over 3,000 redemptions. And we also look at the redemption rate as a key metric for success as well. So how many pass holders are actually active and redeeming offers in the past. So we were really excited to see a 28% redemption rate. And it's a great way to get those pass holders involved with your organization further. So we had over 10,000 email signups to our marketing newsletter, which is really great. And as I mentioned, a lot of really great high engagement with that prizing incentive. But we're excited to see this year for 2024. We've already surpassed our 2023 numbers in the first 6 months, and that's the slow season for us here in Calgary. So we're excited to see how this pass unfolds over the summer when we get a lot more leisure travelers within Calgary.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys on this. And I think one thing to point out here as well is just the fact that you guys refresh and relaunch the attractions pass every year. So there was a 2023 attractions pass it ran the year, it ended, and then we worked together to freshen it up, make some changes here and there, work on some of the merchants, on the gamification, and then we relaunched it in 2024 as a new pass. So I certainly recognize there's a lot of our clients, when you get a whole bunch of signups like you guys have had, the tendency is to want to just kind of let the pass go on indefinitely. But I think your numbers are a really great testament to the fact that introducing a new pass each year, generating that excitement, explaining to your customers, your locals, your visitors that there is a brand new thing, there's a brand new prize to win, there are brand new merchants. I think that speaks to why you're seeing your numbers continue to go up year in and year out here.
Yeah, one thing we had done too was email all of our 2023 pass holders ahead of the launch and let them know that they could pre-register. And I think we had a few thousand signups from that for sure, which helped. I mean, in the middle of winter when people aren't necessarily thinking of going to some attractions and getting out, especially after the holidays. So that was a great start to, really successful pre-launch.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. Now we've got the public art trail.
Yeah, this just launched officially as of June 1st. A lot of learnings with this one. We had started the process of building this 1 year ago, and it's kind of taken us a full year to get here, but it's looking really great. And so we've partnered with 2 local art organizations in Calgary to get their support with connecting with artists and a little bit of help with the fees for licensing the artwork. So we have had to sign contracts with every artist who is included on this pass and get their permission to promote their artwork and use it to promote the pass. And then we've licensed each artwork from them as well, which has been a lot of work, but has also been really rewarding. And it's been really great to be able to support those artists directly. Some of them are from Calgary and Alberta, and some are from overseas and internationally. So it's been really neat to connect with them personally on this. And we've worked with artists or in our prizing strategy, we've decided to connect with 3 local artists and purchase merchandise from them. So we're just kind of giving those artists a little bit of that extra exposure, and especially if a visitor decides to redeem one of those prizes, they're taking home a piece of merch from a Calgarian artist, which I think is really special and neat. And so, another gamified approach here where this is our first pass that we're doing tiered prizing. So at a certain number of check-ins, you get 1 level of prize. It's a sticker. And then at another, if you kind of save up your points at a certain number of check-ins, you can get a bigger prize, and that would be some of that artist merch. And then we have a sweepstakes for this one too. That's a staycation or vacation in Calgary. And includes a custom commissioned art piece from one of the artists, which is really cool. I'm really excited about that piece. So a little early to see how this one's performing, but really excited about it so far. We've got just over 1,000 signups and have only put paid promotion behind it, I think, in the last week. So I think it should really take off here in the next couple of months.
And the one nice benefit of the program too is we saw in our media library, there was a big gap in mural and public artwork as well. And so having that relationship with these organizations and those artists has allowed us to build our media library of assets, at least for the duration of the program. The Explore More Pass, so this is our delegate or meeting attendee passport that we had built. We have over 50 partners on this program, and this is actually where we've kind of taken what we did previously, the Discover Calgary Deals Pass program, and merged it into more of a meetings and delegate and sport attendees. So we give this pass out to athletes and coaches of sport groups that are coming to Calgary as well. We continue to hear from meeting and event planners that there is a really strong need for deals, and the attraction pass wasn't inclusive enough to the types of deals they were looking for. They wanted to be able to take their group out to a restaurant or to send them somewhere to shop nearby in between meetings or sessions. And so we're really excited to launch this program. It is set to engage the meeting attendees through the organizers. So we don't actually have any kind of paid marketing behind this program. It is closed to a specific audience. But we've built a toolkit for those meeting planners and those support organizers to be able to share this with the audience that we need. We have closed this program off with a promo code. So we share specific promo codes to each audience so that we can track redemptions and success through the conventions that are coming to town, at least our tier 1 conventions, to see how engaged they were and where they went during that time frame. And then the other nice benefit of that promo code is it allows us to communicate and message delegates as they arrive to Calgary. So with the specific promo code, we could segment out those signups to say, welcome to Calgary. While you're here, here are some great ideas of what you can explore in the few days you have here. This program is really meant to encourage extended stays and drive exploration around when we know time is limited. So yeah, we're excited to see how this unfolds and look forward to continuing to build it in future years too. We included this as a nice little learning piece. Most of these passes, the Calgary Attraction Pass, Explore More Pass, we have a VIP pass for travel trade and media coming to town, and then our Frontline Experience Pass, which is exclusive to our destination ambassadors. All of our attraction partners participate in all of these pass programs, and having a number of passes out there, we've found can sometimes confuse partners of which offer is for what. So creating a nice cheat sheet to explain the difference of each program, we've found has really helped get them engaged in each of the programs to see the value in why participate in the Calgary Attraction Pass in addition to all of these other great initiatives that we've started. It also is a great option to send to their guest services who, as we know, can change season over season, and constantly reminding those guest services about these past programs is something that we've learned key to success.
That's great. So yeah, you've made it. You've made those offers uniform. I think that is something that's come up with a number of clients along the way, as people are concerned that there is going to be that confusion piece. But I really think that's a powerful thing that you've done to help streamline that and make the messaging piece for your partners easy, so that they understand. Just to kind of go off of that, what's kind of been your learning piece about that along the way? Has there been any challenge to making the offers uniform across passes, or how's that process been for you?
Yeah, so with our Calgary Attraction Pass, we've kind of duplicated their offer on the Explore More meeting and convention pass. And the partners who participate in the Attraction Pass program are really excited about the opportunity to engage the audience of convention attendees and sport athletes. So to get that buy-in wasn't a challenge necessarily. The other two programs, the VIP Pass and the Frontline Experience Pass, it's more of an audience that we want to offer high value discounts to. So these passes would be, admission for 2 to the Calgary Tower, or buy one, get one free. So because we've kind of segmented these out into two very similar audiences, partners have, I think, found it to be more valuable for their frontline and guest services. So it's less keeping track of the different, 4 different offers. It's 2 offers across 4 different passes.
Yeah, that's great, Caitlin. Thank you. And so kind of going off of that, we go into more learnings. So these are kind of general learnings that you guys have developed from all your passes over the past 4.5 years.
Totally. Industry buy-in is successful for program success. I mean, having that cheat sheet is super helpful. Really communicating with our partners what we're trying to do, who we're talking to, the benefit for them. has just been so important in the success of these passes, and to have them continue opting in to participate, because without their participation, the pass doesn't exist. So that's been really key. As we mentioned, a themed approach is much better than a one-size-fits-all. So an attractions pass or a beer pass, maybe a culinary pass, public arts, just kind of keeping to a theme, helps us just kind of with a guiding light into who we're talking to and the purpose of the pass, but it is also supporting our organization's marketing pillars, which has been really helpful too in just aligning our marketing efforts across. Partner engagement, we've just kind of tried to simplify the user experience for pass users, so that when people are at the attraction and in person, that experience is a little bit easier for the people working at that attraction too. Just kind of keeping them informed. I think when we're refreshing the passes or the offers, we're often connecting with, as Caitlin mentioned, new people. And so keeping it top of mind and having regular meetings with those groups just keeps things fresh for those teams. Using paid marketing really helps us just get the word out there. We often will put banners on our website or send out emails about the passes, which perform really well, but having paid advertisements has been key, as well as using the Bandwango messaging options, whether that be emails or text messages, we found have been really good. And we've been trying to be strategic about when we send them, and taking advantage of long weekends and weeks off school, or kind of framing our messaging around that. Of course, we're targeting visitors, but a lot of locals use these passes, which is great too. So if our school board has a week off, we want to take advantage of that time and send out a message to get people out and exploring attractions. We mentioned before that gamification has been really effective, and being able to provide a quick win prize after a certain number of redemptions or check-ins, and then a sweepstakes prize that's pretty significant at the end of the pass has been really successful so far. And then annual programs. Oh, I guess I kind of touched on that too, just keeping them live for about a year, refreshing them after that point, or reevaluating or coming up with new ideas, and then just having them kind of align with some of our key marketing pillars has been really helpful, both for our internal team to keep track of what we've got going on, and just for our overall destination marketing messaging. Anything
Great.
I missed?
Thank you, Caitlin and Kelly. That was some great information. Well, we do have a question in the chat, and please continue adding your questions there if you think of anything. The first one we'll go with from Marianne. How do you assist your participants ensure that their staff understands the pass and the discounts? Michelle, let's start with you on this one. I know you guys do a great job in communicating with your industry partners. We really don't have any customer relations and problems with your passes. So how do you do this?
Yeah, thank you. So we do stay in regular contact with them. We utilize from Bandwango the pass redemption. What is that going to look like screen by screen? So our partners are able to have a real look at what it's going to look like when those first redemption check-ins come in, and they know exactly how to handle that. It's been very simple for us, and we stay in touch with them every month. We reach out to those partners to, make sure that they are feeling good about the pass, that they understand how many people actually checked in at their location, so they know, if the real time, what the performance of that pass is doing for their business. And, on the occasion that they have staff that is new or just forgets, we hear about that, and we reach out to those partners directly and just say, hey, quick reminder, this is these people are coming in, and just if you need anything from us, let us know. And typically it's like, oh my gosh, we know, we're sorry, and we're going to take care of everybody when they walk through the door, and that's very few and far between.
Awesome. Caitlin, Kelly, what are you guys doing?
So we send out, when we launch our programs, we send out a toolkit to all partners. So that toolkit helps them with how they can market the pass themselves, but then includes the staff training information for their teams. So Bandwango does that great kind of cheat sheet of how the pass works for each program. And we've taken that and we've kind of merged it, depending on the partner, into including the other programs that they're participating and how they work and what offers they have for each pass. But yeah, one time is not enough. You have to keep your partners engaged, and we've started to do it on more of a quarterly basis, or as we know major events are coming into town, we'll send a communication to our partners to say, hey, here's this cheat sheet, just a quick reminder for your guest services to be aware of your offer and how people can redeem on site. And it's been smooth to some extent. We do hear back too that somebody wasn't familiar with the pass or they got confused with the offer, and we'll reach out to those partners at that time still. And everyone's they want to make sure it's a great experience for the guests coming in. And I think we have a lot of partners who are very engaged with our organization and with the success of Bandwango. So reporting back on the success gets that buy-in and gets them excited to train their staff and make sure that they're advising the person to actually click check in or redeem too, because those numbers are really what allows us to be able to do this year after year.
Awesome. So communication. That is the word of the day. And that,
Yes.
that is definitely important to maintain that ongoing communication with those merchants that are participating in the pass, and grow that relationship with them. Because like what Michelle was talking about earlier, they can also promote these passes for you through that collateral that they have within their businesses. So they are an important part of this pass process as well. And so thank you both for your answers on that. So we did have a question earlier from Lisa. Is this private to attendees? It looks like you got that answered. I think that was in regards to the meetings focus pass. Mm-hmm. So if anybody else has any questions, continue to drop them in there. But Jason, I know you have a few questions you're going to throw out there as well. So why don't you take it from here?
I do. I have all the questions, Brandy. I'm a former television news reporter, so asking questions was what I used to do for a living. So forgive me for all the questions, but you guys are experts in the Bandwango sphere, and so I'd love to tap into your knowledge while I've got you here. My understanding from both of you is that really, when you started with Bandwango, you had paper passport programs prior to starting with Bandwango. And so for folks out there who may not be Bandwango clients yet, who are watching, or may already be clients who have a paper campaign, what would you say to them if they have maybe some reticence about going from paper to digital? Would you guys look back at this point, having gone digital with your programs?
I would look back and say, I wish I did this sooner. I mean, my goodness, it's just the tracking and, the real-time numbers that I can, if one of our partners calls and has a question, I'm able to, pull that information real time and provide those numbers or answer those questions very quickly because of this. It's also, a greener, more sustainable option to provide a digital pass versus paper and printing and people keeping track of it and losing it. And, so, oh my gosh, I would have just done it sooner. That's my only regret.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the tracking side of things for us was a really big challenge with paper. And we had our Frontline Experience Pass. It was kind of a limited term program that we would run every year. And we would ask pass holders to bring us their passes so we could see the number of stamps that they collected in order to be entered into our grand prize. We only got a few of those. And then from our partner tracking, that communication for partners to track, it just got lost. It wasn't a priority for guest services to do a check mark and find that sheet of paper next to them. So it really has allowed us to see the success of these programs and how engaged our industry, which is amazing. And And then just for, maintaining programs on an annual basis, people can sign up at any point in time. There's no lag. They can get out and explore right then and there rather than having to, wait for some sort of, paper copy. So to get visitors in market for us, that's really important. It's a seamless approach, and they can instantly sign up and download and access deals.
Great.
Awesome.
I'm so glad to hear that.
We did have a couple more questions come through on chat. Buffy had a question. Hey, Buffy. We have many signups, but too many of those have been unused. How do you encourage people to actually use the pass they already signed up for? And Caitlin and Kelly, we'll start with you on this one. Tell us what you're doing to engage those pass holders.
We've seen a lot of success in using the Bandwango text messaging to keep people re-engaged, and we've been trying to send one out about once a month. Again, I kind of mentioned ahead of long weekends or weeks off, but just keeping it really top of mind. I think using social engagement. I loved Columbus's idea of local influencers, and that's something that we're really looking at using this year. I think that's a really neat idea too. But I think just really keeping it in front of people, whether that's through paid ads they might see in their feed, and then remember oh yeah, I have that, I need to use it. Actively engaging. We link to those passes in our leisure emails nearly every month. So just really putting it in front of everyone's eyes is my best recommendation.
Awesome. Michelle, I'll throw the same question to you.
Sure. My answer is basically the same, is that we really take advantage of the in-pass messaging and, trying to keep all of our trails and passes top of mind, again, with fun messaging, with timely and relevant messaging, just depending on what's going on, in the area or on the calendar, trying to make sure that we're keeping that front of mind and tying it into something maybe that they hadn't thought of before. So that's a big one for us. And of course, I agree, using social and using, our influencers and the people that are already talking about it and getting them to push that out there again and more often is certainly helpful.
Awesome. Totally true. You've got to continue talking to those pass holders, engaging with them, reminding them about it, because people do sign up, they get excited, but let's face it, life happens sometimes. We get pulled in a million different directions, but if you remind them, they want to use it. So if any of you have questions about messaging, definitely reach out to your success specialist. We can help you come up with some ideas, share the messaging form, and talk to you more about that on a one-on-one basis about what might make the most sense for your particular destination. We had another question from Marianne here. Have you ever done a pass to encourage patronage in a particular geographic area, which would include a wide range of retail and service businesses? Michelle, do you want to start with that one?
Can you read that one more time?
Have you ever done a pass to encourage patronage in a particular geographic area, which would include a wide range of retail and service businesses?
So we not necessarily specifically in a particular geographic area, but what I will say that what we have done with some passes this past year and a half is that we've added itineraries onto some of our passes to encourage people while they are on our outdoor trails, or with our new relaunch of the Seabus Soul Sculpture Trail is, hey, while you're here, make sure you walk into this community and check out these businesses. Or, there's these wonderful minority-owned businesses in this area while you're checking out the Seabus Soul Sculpture Trail Pass. So we have kind of tied those different businesses together with existing trails by adding itineraries into our passes.
And those look really cool, how we have them set up as the categories. So if anybody wants to see an example of that, we're happy to share that with you too. Yes. Caitlin, Kelly, what about you guys?
We did this with our Love YYC Deals Pass, where we used the categories to break up. Calgary's divided into 4 quadrants, and we wanted to get locals out in the quadrant that they were. So we kind of took that approach by making sure that we had businesses in each of those quadrants, kind of in heavy locations. And with our trail pass as well, we're very cautious about making sure we're not just focused on, you know, the inner core of the city, but the wider area. So not specifically, but we are very aware of, you know, where people may be staying or where people are in Calgary, and trying to position a number of partners on the pass to service those regions.
Okay.
And I'll just mention one last thing on this, Brandy, and then I know you have another question that came in that we want to get to here in the next couple minutes. But we have several clients right now. We know that summer is construction season for a lot of cities and counties and areas in, you know, both the United States and Canada. And so we have a couple of my clients who are working on downtown passes specifically related to downtown areas that are dealing with heavy construction this summer. And so they really wanted to support their partners. They wanted to help people understand that these downtown areas are open, the businesses in those areas are open. And so they have created passes specific to that geographic area with a wide range of businesses, everything from retail to dining to beverage to services. And their goal is to highlight the area and drive people there despite what is kind of outside of their control with what their local government or state government is doing. So definitely have clients doing that, Marianne, and we can talk through those options more with you offline. We'll give our emails here in a second.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. And we've got time for one more question here from Roxanne. Hey, Roxanne. This one is for Calgary. You mentioned you have a toolkit specifically for event organizers so they can easily communicate the passes to their attendees and delegates. What is included in this? Is there a Bandwango template for this?
We just created this ourselves, and it's primarily the messaging that we want to give to those meeting planners and event organizers. So we keep it very concise. It's very clear because the meeting planner spends a lot of time communicating, you know, the actual event to their attendees, and trying to give them the destination tidbits is, you know, sometimes a bit of a challenge. So we keep it concise. We keep it very clear on what the pass is, what kind of offers they can find available, where the link is to sign up, and the promo code for that specific event. So it's just a kind of a nice branded Tourism Calgary template.
All right. Well, it looks like we are almost at the end of our time here. So I'm just going to begin to wrap things up for us. But first off, I just wanted to thank both of our presenting organizations today. Thank you, Experience Columbus and Tourism Calgary, so much for your time and all of your insights. We just feel like very lucky to be in on this with you and hearing everything that you've learned. And it's such a great opportunity for others to learn from you, given that you guys have been in the game for quite a few years now with Bandwango. And so you have an experience that you bring to the table that for some people who are just starting, this is going to be super valuable. So thank you. I also wanted to thank McLean from our marketing team, who was instrumental in organizing all of this and providing support along the way and ensuring that this technology of the webinar and everything worked properly. So thank you, McLean, for all of your work. Of course, Brandy, a big thank you to you, our fearless leader today, leading our call, and for all the hard work you've put in. I'm going to advance on to this last slide here, which has Brandy and my email, and we welcome any additional questions that you have. Maybe there's something you heard one of the presenters mention, or you just want to discuss some of the other capabilities of the platform. Something maybe sparked an idea for you today. Brandy and I would love to chat more with you about that. And I know that also both teams on the call today have expressed that they would be willing to answer some of your questions as well. So if you email Brandy and I, we'll make sure it gets to the right person and link you up with them so you can ask any additional questions that you may have. But other than that, any other parting words, Brandy, that you want to leave us with today?
I just want to reiterate, we're so thankful for our OGs, our ride or dies, our original ones that were there with us from the beginning. Thank you, Tourism Calgary. Thank you, Experience Columbus, for sharing so many great ideas today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So with that, we are going to end things for today. We wish you all a great rest of your Thursday, and we will talk to you soon. We'll see you next month for next month's webinar. Be on the lookout in your email box for what that will be.
Bye, everybody.